Is your microphone on?
Sorry. So I'm sure most of you guys have heard that we're missing one of our commissioners. So before we begin tonight's meeting, I just wanted to take a moment and acknowledge the passing of our our fellow commissioner and our friend, Jamie Bennett. Jamie was a dedicated member of this body. He gave his time, he gave his leadership, he gave his wisdom to our community. Jamie had a deep background in arts and architecture. He approached each project with integrity and professionalism and an open mind. His contributions to our city are going to have a lasting impact, and he's going to be deeply missed by all of us who's had the privilege to know him and to work alongside of him. You know, when I took over for Steve as chair, I knew I had some big shoes to fill. And I think it's still a bit intimidating, to say the least. But Jamie was always there. He was positive. He always had a big smile on his face, and he always told me that you got this. And I'll never forget that positive support that he brought. So on behalf of the Planning Commission and staff, I wanted to extend our condolences to Jamie and his friends and his family and his loved ones. But before we pause, I know Lucas wanted to share something as well.
Yeah, I think you said a lot of what I was going to say tonight, but I wanted to share a story that I had, conversation I had with him a couple years ago. While I may look young, I am like a fine wine at age, right? And I recently had a 25-year high school reunion to attend to, but I grew up in the Midwest, so it's in Iowa. And in talking with him about a project, I had mentioned that just in passing, and he reminded me that I absolutely should be attending that, as he did when he had his 25-year high school reunion. I said, well, what's the big deal? It's just 25 years. What does that matter? And he said, no, the important piece for this is that you have an opportunity to go back and meet with the individuals that you grew up with. And, you know, growing up in the Midwest, I knew everybody from the time I was in kindergarten to the time I graduated in high school. It was 97 individuals that I graduated with, and got a chance to meet up with more than 50 of them at that time, and shared our experiences and where our careers are at that point. And then he went on to say, so now when you attend your 50th, which he said he just recently had attended at the time, said, instead that meeting, when you end up going to that, is less about the career and more about the careers of your children and your grandchildren that you have at that point. And at that time, I didn't necessarily think too much of it until I attended and realized how important it was to attend that at 25. I also look forward to doing it at 50 as long as I can make it that long. I know he did, so I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate that. Okay, so now I invite us to take a quick pause, a moment of silence in honor of Commissioner Bennett. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Okay, so Sherry, let's do roll call if we can.
Chair Trent?
Here.
Vice Chair Murphy?
Here.
Commissioner Graham?
Here.
Commissioner Chesley? Absent, and one vacancy.
Awesome. Thank you, Sherry. Now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Judy, if you don't mind. Sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Approval of the agenda. Oops. Lucas, any changes?
No changes.
All right. It's good to go there. So now this is our time for public communications.
Minutes.
Oh, we're right here.
Okay.
It's time set aside during our meeting for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on items of city business other than scheduled agenda items. And I have one speaker card for public communications, Steve Quillisi.
Thank you, John. Commissioners, staff, I think I probably feel as deeply as you do about the loss of Jamie Bennett. I remember when he first joined the commission, I told him that it was great to have a commissioner who had both executive roles and, excuse me, strategic planning roles, which goes along with that, and who, as I discovered as he served, a great concern for every applicant that came before the commission. He brought, I think, a combination of experience and attitude that is going to be very difficult to replicate anywhere in this city.
Absolutely.
You need a lot of experience, which means you need older people, but we also need younger people for their other thoughts about what should be the direction of the community. But I will miss Jamie greatly. I've written to his wife. And I was pleased and proud to count him as a friend. I keep looking over there at that chair,
Right.
expecting to see him. And I will be constantly disappointed every time I come to one of these meetings. Another quick topic, I'm going to miss Taylor Anderson.
Yes.
She does good work for this commission. And she is willing, in the middle of a meeting, as discussion goes on, to say, no, you can't talk about that. Or you have to cover that in a different time, at a different place, whatever. And she's caught me up a few times. I suspect you too now that
Absolutely.
now that you're the chair.
Keeps us in line.
But that is one of the key capabilities of your attorney here, to keep the commission in line. And I thank her for that, for all the time that I was on the commission as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Okay.
We have someone online with their hand raised.
Sherry, did we have anybody online?
Yes, they're on. It's iPhone 180.
What's this?
Hello,
Hello?
can you can hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you for giving us this time. I'm here together with my wife. I'm Frank and my wife Lynn Menlo. We live on 501
504.
504 West Eucalyptus.
Actually, I
And-
think they're not for public
Oh,
comments.
is this
They're for
regarding the
item 2.
Mallory Way project?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get to that. That's our second item that we have coming up.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll
okay.
Yeah, so if you don't
So-
mind, just hang out.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Okay, so now we'll move on to our first topic, which is the consent items and minutes of the regular meeting. Any changes to the minutes?
No changes.
No changes.
Changes?
I
Okay.
move to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Sherry, roll call?
Graham,
Aye.
Murphy,
Aye.
Trent.
Yes. All right, disclosure of site visits, ex parte contacts. I know the site, visited the site. I have not had any ex parte contacts.
I have visited both sites and have had no ex parte contacts.
No ex parte contacts.
All right, okay. So now
Can I
we'll
just
move.
get clarification? Did any of the three attend
Oh, yes.
the site visit? I think in
We did go to the
Thousand
site
Oaks.
visit. Didn't we already cover that in a
covered that in a prior
previous?
meeting.
In the previous meeting?
We
Yeah.
did.
I
but-
thought so.
All right.
Yeah.
No, we didn't? Okay, I've been to
You
the,
talked about it at the end of
talked
the
about
last
it,
meeting.
yes.
It would be helpful to acknowledge it at
Thank
the
you.
top of this
Yeah.
item.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, it was part of our commission, I forgot what it was at the very end of the meeting. Commissioner reports. It was
Yes,
part of our
okay.
commissioner reports. But yeah, it does make sense to address it now. So yeah, if you want to share, Judy.
okay. Yes, I took Jamie. And we went off to see a model of what they're planning to put onto the Mallory Way site. Um, That's about it. I mean, did you want us to discuss what we saw, or just that we've been?
No, that can be during the
Okay.
public hearing item.
Thank you, Judy.
I did not have the opportunity to visit the models, so.
Yeah, I was the same. I was invited, but I did not have a chance to visit the models. Yeah.
You missed out.
Yes, but I do know Jonathan had a chance to see him as well. Okay. Now we'll move on to the public hearing.
Thank you. I'm going to pull PowerPoint. Okay. Good evening, commissioners and community. My name is Lucas Seibert. I'm the Community Development Director here for the City of Ojai. The item you have before you tonight is 412 Mallory Way. It's an affordable housing project. This is a second meeting and discussion. This is a public hearing item. This is different from when we had the discussion back in May, where there were several items that are addressed within the staff report tonight. The PowerPoint presentation is going to be kind of an overview, but also touching base on the changes and modifications that were made by the applicant, developer, architect, based on the information that was brought forward during the May meeting. First, let's talk about and just kind of do a refresher. I kind of call this setting the table for discussion. This project is a part of a settlement agreement, which includes one of 4 locations approved as a part of City Council's settlement agreement with the applicant and developer in December of 2023. It includes a mix of deed-restricted, affordable, and market-rate housing. Through the settlement agreement, it included the preservation of the 25 existing bungalow units, as was described and identified during the May meeting. The 25 units, majority of those, 18 of the 25 were slated for removal as a part of a previous project. So this was scored as a win to preserve the historic integrity of those bungalows. It includes deeded public land to the developer that is to the west, and that is a paper street of about 50 feet in wide and width. I'll have a slide that'll show some details on that, and we'll go over that. It includes a dedicated trail through the site. Right now, there's already a trail that exists that's being used. This would secure that into the future. It's a trail that runs north to south and connects with an existing trail along Cottage Among the Flowers. 2-story maximum was identified as a part of the settlement agreement. When brought forward in May, that was not being used and utilized. However, hearing feedback from the community, and recognizing some opportunities, there is now a 2-story element that's being proposed. I'll identify that in the slides to come. Existing tenant protections, that's a part of the specific settlement agreement for both Cottages and Mallory Way. So both of those are included. And then there's a limit on the number of square feet for each of the units, which is really kind of where you're seeing the Samara units come to light here. They're about 500 to 600 square feet in size. And then the density is another piece that was a part of the settlement, which is 58 units. Not up to, but 58 units, which is what we're seeing here. For the proposed development, I think it's worth noting that the full public land, or the paper street, and I'll have a slide for that. It's not the entirety of it. It's about 47 or 50% of that area that they're wanting to utilize. The affordability piece includes both a five units for very low and 5 for moderate, which is what triggers the density bonus pieces that we're seeing here, which is 58 units. The building massing, while it started out at single story, and that was what, when I was working with the developer early on, we were trying to keep it at a single story. It's predominantly single story. There is now a 2-story stick development portion along the eastern edge. You'll see that in the coming up slides. Same thing with the parking. A lot of questions and comments came in regards to whether or not there's going to be a sufficient amount of parking, even though through density bonus law they're meeting the minimum requirements. They've went back into the coffers and have gone from 63, which was what was brought forward in May, and have upped that up to 73. The unit count or the unit size is as proposed, which is the 500 to 600 square feet, consistent with the settlement agreement. And then the trail connection includes now a proposal for wayfinding signage so that anybody that's entering that trail from the north understands how to traverse north and then reconnect with the cottages. The motor court units was certainly one of a lot of consideration and discussion. That motor court, while it had 4 units on it, I think the staff report identified 3. That was a mistake for staff in our review. Looking at it again, all 4 of those units are being offloaded from that motor court portion. So it's looking to preserve that. I know there was a lot of discussion at HPC, Historic Preservation Commission, regarding that as well. The location that's a part of this proposal is 412 Mallory Way. That is the address. The zoning is R2. The general plan designation or land use designation is medium high density, which is consistent with the zoning of an R2 designation. The lot size is 3.58 acres in size. The residential uses surrounding the site. So it's either a combination of single family and multifamily to the north, south, east, and west. Here I have some photos. The one on the north, the very upper left corner, is the entry into and from Mallory Way. That's the main entrance that's currently being utilized. The photo to the south, or to the bottom left, is the entry from Raymond for the trail. And then that photo on the right-hand side is the access point along the very northern side of this site, which I believe is Summer. So let's get into the changes that came about during the discussion and comments and input that was received during the May meeting. If you recall, the May meeting we weren't looking for a decision, we were looking for input. And it was a thought-provoking discussion that came forward, and then from that has been born modifications and revisions that were a part of the applicant, developer, architect. So I just want to kind of give some background information in terms of the colors and the coordination that you're seeing here. So if we start in the center, that's the motor court, that dotted red line. Initially, there was 4 units that were on there. You can still see a rectangle, which at first blush looks like another unit, but in fact, it's a recreational area that had been to the west of this, or to the north of this area, and now has been pushed to this area, which is consistent with what the motor court area initially had, which was some basic recreational stuff. Within that, they've also squeezed in a couple more parking spaces because of the 4 units that are being offloaded. Those 4 units that are being offloaded are now to the east, which is to the very top of this slide. It's that orange rectangle. That is the original location and current location of 6 parking spaces. And then in addition to the parking spaces is a laundry room as well. That laundry room is going to be preserved. Those parking spaces are going to be converted to units, as well as a second story, which now this is that stick building I was mentioning previously. 7 units is what you're going to see on that particular building. If we're looking to the south or to the right, those arrows, those blue arrows that you're seeing there that kind of start from the bottom and then work their way up and to the right. If you're looking at the map, I've turned it sideways because of the kind of the linear orientation of this. North is to your left, east is up, and then south is to your right. So the drainage that you're seeing there is a part of the drainage that's being taken from the property to the west or to the bottom. It's a single-family residence. That area, I will have to note, there was a lot of conversation and concern in regards to whether or not Fish and Wildlife was going to be required to be a part of this. I will report that the developer, as well as myself, met on site with Fish and Wildlife, and it's been determined that as a part of that 602 requirement through the government code, they will be required to submit an application and information and go through the process. We got clarification on that. I know there was conversation at the previous meeting as to whether or not Blue Line Stream would be the trigger. They made it very apparent that they don't look at it from a Blue Line Stream standpoint. They look at it as a watercourse piece. So that's actually kind of an interesting development. It's caused us to take a look at a couple other projects that are in the city as well. So it's opened our eyes to process and procedure. So there's that piece. The kind of the arched arrows that are kind of a burnt red. If we start from the north or to the left of this screen, you can see the trail. That's kind of the entrance area that we're looking at. It has kind of a curvilinear approach to it. You can see the arrows kind of thread south and then head east or up, and then connect to the existing cottage trail as well. So that trail, which is a part of the settlement agreement, is and will be preserved and maintained in its entirety, just modified to accommodate for the units that are being placed there as well. There will be wayfinding signage so that individuals that do enter this area understand the coursework to get them through and then into cottages and eventually to exiting through Aliso, onto Aliso. Okay, so lastly is those two oval circles that I have to the north or to the west or to the left of this slide is and are existing or proposed parking spaces that have been increased in size. So initially when this went forward in May, there was 63 spaces that were noted. Here we're looking at an increase from 63 to 71 spaces in total as it's proposed. All right, so moving on. As a part of this and a part of the settlement agreement was a public land dedication. And that, I'd mentioned it earlier, this is the visual for it. Entering along Raymond, you can see that green line. That's the trail entrance. And as you meander down and south along, once you exit Raymond along that green, it basically is bookended where that orange line is. That's the area, and to the south or to the right is the area that the developer is looking to take over as a part of the development. Everything to the north or to the left of that orange would still be and remain with the city. Those green arrows are the trail as it exists today. So they're maintaining really kind of the same format and understanding of what that trail looks like even today. The yellow that you see there is really the highlighted area of the site itself. And then the blue dotted line or dash line that you're seeing there is the public land dedicated space. So it's about 830 odd feet in length and about 50 to 52 feet in width. They're looking to take over about 385 feet and maintain that 30 or that 52 feet in width. From a design standpoint, this is a slide that was there before. It's just a reminder for the community and for the commission. To the left, you're seeing the existing buildings. Those are the Mallory Way bungalows, those 25 units, 21 buildings in total. And you're looking at the information that's looking to be modified or kind of updated for that fact. To the right is the Samara units. Those are those pre-manufactured buildings. There's examples of those in Thousand Oaks that the commission was invited to. The new design proposal is that 7-unit, 2-story build, which is not going to be a pre-manufactured, but will be stick-built or ground-up construction. And you're seeing the kind of the design here. If you're looking at it from left to right, to the left is where the existing washer-dryer unit area is going to be maintained. In addition to that area is an area for bicycle parking and e-bike charging as well. And I believe storage as well. Am I wrong with the storage there? Is that correct? In that area? Okay. The 7 units then take up the rest of the area on the bottom, and then the 4 on top. So 7 in total. So in terms of the recommendations tonight, the staff is asking to receive the information and presentation brought forward tonight, and then the information and clarifying information by the applicant and developer, to open the matter for public comment and input, ask questions of staff and the applicant, and then to consider the resolution and associated conditions recommending approval to City Council of the proposed affordable for rent housing project on the existing 3.52 acre lot located at 412 Mallory Way. So with that concludes the presentation. If the commission has any questions of staff, I could certainly answer them. I know the applicant is here as well and may want to provide some clarifying points as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucas. Appreciate it. You guys have questions?
Yes.
I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit more about what it is that the California Department of Fish and Wildlife is expecting or asking for in this report. How far along are you on that, and what is it that they're suggesting or requiring by way of drainage? Since they call it an open waterway, I've seen drainage used also, I'm still confused.
I might actually have Jeff come up. Him and I were both
Okay.
meeting with them, and I know that he's putting together a package for Fish and Wildlife, but just overall, the conversation with the 2 individuals that we met with was one of understanding their process and when things are triggered. And then 2, when things are triggered, what that process looks like. Because I'll admit, they had identified to myself that notification was enough. So I notified them. And then I realized, hey, by notifying them, there's actually maybe more that's involved here. So it was kind of a learning curve to a certain degree. And the same thing is true with the Blue Line Stream. It was assumed that since there wasn't a defining term for what triggered it, that USGS maps have blue line streams, and that's usually the defining feature that triggers additional review and consideration. In having that conversation with them on site, they made it very clear that blue line streams it's not just blue line streams, it's all water courses that could be impacted.
Okay, so the fact that it's dry most of the time does not matter.
It could be literally dry 11 months out of the year, and it gets one rain event, and that's enough.
So
for
what
Fish and
does
Wildlife
that mean in terms of the building, placing structures there or near, or what do they say?
The short answer is I don't know yet.
Okay.
They said that it's more of an application for project review, but they haven't sent us the application yet, even though we've asked a couple times. So we're still sort of pending, waiting to get the application. But Lucas is correct. They basically said if you have a culvert, even if it's dry except for one day out of the year, they have a review. So if any kind of project, you're going to fill out an application. So
What parts of the project will this impact?
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. We don't have any major changes to that part of the channel, other than there's a underground lined tunnel that the metal system that's in place, a part of it's rotted out. So our engineers were recommending that we replace that section. And that's underground right now. So we're definitely going to do that just because it's, 60 years old and needs to be kind of upgraded.
And
What would happen, Jeff, if they say you can't have that many units, or that a particular unit has to be moved? Are you able to accommodate that?
We'd have to look at it. We'd have to take a look at it. But that's not the impression that the field people that we met with gave us.
yeah, I think they're, just to clarify, and having those conversations with those individuals, it was more about the improvements along, or modifications along that water course area. They didn't have any sort of insight, and certainly within 602, I haven't seen anything that talks about like setbacks or distance requirements like we have when we have blue line streams. We have a very specific code section that requires distances from those blue line stream water courses. This isn't a blue line stream, so it doesn't have that same kind of heavy-handed approach to review and process. On the city side, on Fish and Wildlife side, it seems very clear that they want to look at it, but it's unclear in terms of what they're going to want at the end of the day. What I'm finding and seeing with this in the conversation is it falls into line with what we consider to be the plan check process versus the design review process. I think they're less concerned, at least in the conversations we've had with them, and it's been 2, but more to come, I assume, that I don't see density as being a concern on their end. I think they're concerned with the improvements or modifications that are looking to be made along that water course.
I think I was concerned about them requiring a setback, and enough of a setback that it would impact the number of units that are planned.
Yeah, I didn't get that impression when talking to them, but I will admit it was a lessons learned for me. I had assumed that because it's not a blue line stream, it wouldn't be we wouldn't be going through this process, and they made it very clear that no, you are going through this process. So,
Okay.
Did they say anything about the current structures? Like, is it currently in compliance with their requirements?
I think their process is less about compliance with the current. It's more about the modifications that you're looking to make to the water course.
So even if it's in poor condition today,
Yeah.
they don't look at that.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what the depth is that we're looking at here, because that's going to be our first one going through.
Because it floods today.
Correct.
We get big rain events.
Well, when we get rain events, it floods. We have video evidence of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will add that we added a head wall and a lot of improvements to the cottages project, which is adjacent. And a lot of that was for the flooding issue.
Okay.
So
Yeah, to be fair,
that's already been, we walked that whole site with them.
Yeah, and our understanding is they're looking at both sites
Yeah.
right now.
Are the areas that flood mapped? Do you have
Oh, flood maps?
you have certainty of where the floods?
Flood maps
occur?
aren't carried here because these are not blue line streams. So there's not.
There's
not
nothing there, in other words.
That's the look. I was following course with what you typically look at from a planning perspective.
Right.
And the blue line stream is the trigger, and I wasn't seeing that. But like I said, that doesn't concern them.
That makes sense.
Okay.
We've talked about flooding, and I want to just go to the other side of this, fire and fire hardening. Number 7 on page 5 of 7. Staff talks about, hey, there's condition of approval. It talks about additional fire, hardening measures. Can you just talk a little bit about what those types of measures might be?
Yeah, I'll ask Bill Mellon, who's our landscape architect, to come up and answer those. We have to meet all the current requirements. And frankly, those could even change between now and building permitting, because that doesn't happen quickly, so it's a process. But Bill, you want to? Sure.
Hello, Bill Mellett, the landscape architect for the project. We're very aware of the current new fire code, which took effect in April. All our landscape will be compliant with that. Basically, within 5 feet of a structure now, no combustible material, so that's no planting, no foundation planting, anything like that. Then it goes out to 10 feet and then 30 foot, and it talks about spacing of plant material and combustible materials that can be within that space. And no fences or anything connecting back to the buildings like pergolas, that kind of thing. They have to be fire rated. So that will be a big part of this project now going forward. And the units, I'm very sure, meet the current fire code.
Does it articulate on how close those buildings can be together or how far apart they need to be?
Yes,
It does?
10-foot minimum structure,
Structure,
Structure.
okay. All right.
which they're all more than that.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just going to make an assumption here that the fire department has access to these plans and will give their approval, which means that their hoses can reach any structure on site. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, good.
No other questions from me.
No? Okay. Anything else? Not right
No,
now?
Lucas covered a few of my questions.
Okay. I have a couple. So, condition 3, and this is more for staff. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. The applicant shall underground all site utilities. I believe that's standard code, right? That's, all right. I just want to make sure that's called out.
It calls it out. It's 10-808.
So, underground all utilities.
Correct.
Got it, okay. Also wanted to call out that the enhancements on here do take into effect, or they're looking at adding the additional parking, which goes beyond the state minimum requirements, correct?
Correct. They've found 10 additional spaces, but part of it was taking those units off of that motor court area.
Yeah.
Doing the 2-story, which, I mean, when Jeff and I were first looking at the plans and working with the architect, we were trying to keep it single story, recognizing that the single story piece wasn't as important as trying to maintain that motor court. We were able to find additional parking through that as well.
Yeah, that was part of the HPC analysis, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
So that second-story structure, that's in the mortar court, in the very center of the property. It's not going to be seen from necessarily the street or.
So it's actually to the east of the site, not centrally located.
With this back unit that's here.
Yep.
Can you pull
got it.
it up on the
Sure.
screen again, just so we're all on the same page? I think I know which one it is, but I just want to be clear. All right, so that's it. But yeah, where is it going to be on the site? Oh, it's to the back, okay.
And what's,
that
what's
orange
behind that?
Rectangle. It's single family to the east. And then if you're seeing, so you see that kind of blue snaking looking line that I drew, that's where Summer Street is. So a portion of that, not the entire width, it's basically an access point that you're seeing there as well. And that's connecting with Summer.
Yeah, that'll be like a walkable path kind of thing.
Walkable. Is it wide? Help me out here. Is it wide enough for a vehicle to get through?
It is. It'll have some sort of a bollard or something there, but it is wide enough for emergencies
Oh, okay.
for vehicle, but it's primarily a pedestrian.
Okay, so it's not going to be accessed by cars on a regular basis.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, just to add more on the parking, there's 73 parking spaces total, 3 of which are ADA.
Right. Just a quick question on the trail access on the bottom piece there. Has the fire department elaborated on that concept right there? I mean, as far as just folks getting out in the event of emergency, you know, where would they go? I guess they would have to go along the trail and to one of the roads.
Yeah, they would go south to the corner, the intersection
Mm-hmm. Okay.
of Mallory and Eucalyptus.
Okay. Because they couldn't really go north, right? Is there a street up there?
On the north end's the,
Trail starts.
that's the trail,
Yeah.
continues on for another 400 plus feet, I think.
And those are single-family homes on the other side.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So they're gonna have to go to.
South.
Yeah,
They
they'll
would go
to the
south, to the right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Lucas, I did have a question on, let's see, number 2. We talked about red curbing potentially, because we were talking about parking on, you know, the streets, because obviously we're gonna have a lot more parking on the streets. And somebody brought up the idea of putting maybe red curbs in front of mailboxes to kind of help prevent folk, you know, so they would get their mail, the current folks that live there. But the Public Works Director said that we might not be able to do this, is that?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a conversation that I had with the Public Works Director. It's still open for conversation, but I will note, you're doing it for this area. There's the potential for creating a nexus for other areas as
Set the
well.
precedence,
Exactly.
yeah.
All over the city.
So we just got to, it's kind of a slippery slope. Okay, so
gotcha.
we're potentially addressing some initial concerns here. I'm not even sure what that looks like in terms of the loss of parking along the street.
Yeah,
So.
I assume that would be impacted for sure.
Another alternative, if that becomes a problem, is for those communities is proposing possibly grouping the mailboxes. So there's a central location where the mailbox needs
Oh.
to be instead of, I'm not sure that that would be palatable for the community, but that is an option.
Yeah, no, I
Right,
understand.
to have all of the mail delivered in one location instead of several locations.
Okay, and then we also talked about potential stop signs. So you did look into that, but the return was, well, we have to have a traffic study done.
Potentially,
Yeah,
that's one of the options.
and that'll be done, I'm assuming, after the project's in place. Okay, so not before.
Council does have the ability to require those
Okay.
those pieces.
Okay,
As to whether or not it's required of the project applicant or the developer, that's something that we need to have a conversation on.
Okay.
The traffic study would then, if it's a traffic study and then identifies a need or a requirement through the conditions, then that's different.
okay.
Is there a stop sign within the development as you go in from Mallory Way and you're taking a left-hand turn to go around the court? Is there any traffic signage needed?
That, I'm not, it would be a question for the applicant.
Sorry, Jeff. You're getting your exercise.
Minimum speed 55 miles an hour. No, we'll probably need to add some kind of signage, you know.
Okay.
But at present, we don't have anything on the plans, but, you know.
Because
on the
this is
material.
private property,
Yeah,
that
right.
would be
Yeah.
something you can just decide yourself
Right.
and the state doesn't care?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jeff, I know we talked a little bit about this during the last meeting around assigned parking, like for each unit, like almost like numbered.
There's some assigned parking in here.
Is there?
Yeah.
I was just, yeah. I
Part.
didn't-
They're
Partial.
numbered now, but that was more for like unit count.
Yeah.
To determine the total number of spaces.
Okay,
So yeah, that's typically what ends up happening, is you end up assigning,
okay, some sort of assigned parking.
except for the ADA units and maybe the visitor spaces.
Okay, all right.
And so you do think you'll end up assigning parking spaces to
Probably.
each unit? Great.
Yeah, otherwise it's a little bit of a battle.
Yeah, a little
Absolutely.
free for all.
Yeah, right.
No, it makes sense. Okay.
I read that in here
And,
somewhere
and
today.
when you have the assigned parking, I'm assuming you'll probably have a couple for, by visitors and,
Right.
okay, all
Yeah.
right. That makes sense. All right. And then delivery, like delivery trucks, Amazon, all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming they'll just park in the roundabout temporarily and deliver the packages and move on, and there's.
Yeah, that would be my expectation. The main traffic flow areas are asphalt, and then the parking spaces are all a different type of,
Like a paver.
yeah, paver system.
And you're saying those were permeable surfaces, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a requirement.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain calc.
And so, I mean, the Amazon issue's interesting,
Yeah.
because are the streets wide enough to be able to allow a car to be able to snake around
Yeah,
another
they
car
have to
that's
be
parked?
for fire too.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
you have those, the fire, requires certain width for their trucks and vehicles to get through,
Great,
so,
thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you.
And Lucas, I know some of these are dependent on council. So is council going to review this, like, after we make our recommendation, that this does go to council for their review,
Yes.
for their final review? Okay. But we can make recommendations for them to look at certain items. Could we do that?
Yes, you can.
All right, cool. Perfect.
I just want to clarify, so long as it's consistent with the code,
Sure,
right?
absolutely. I got you, I got you.
Maybe it goes without saying, but,
Yeah.
We
No, keep
wouldn't.
us in line.
no, I
get
know,
you,
I
get
know.
you.
Benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, no, it's good. All right, what else? All right, and then,
Where are the tandem parking places?
Here, if you want, I can kind of highlight this if the architect.
Jason, the architect, I believe we eliminated them because we had some in the parking court area when we had other units. But now there's, as far as I know, there's no tandem parking. Actually, you, Lucas, you're right. There's
was gonna
one,
say, I think
there's
it's
two right there.
Here.
But all the parking spaces are designed to meet code, even if they are parallel.
I think that's it. Oh, no, hold on, the's one more. It's up here.
Where are you? Oh, there?
Sorry, follow the arrow.
Okay, I'm finding the arrow. Okay.
So there's one up here too. It's on the northeast side or the upper left.
and I apologize, is that an access point there what street is that? Where you were, just where you had, that's all right.
Is
Yeah,
that
there's-
Raymond?
So there's
There's 4 access points.
4 access points. One of it is emergency only.
Okay.
And then, so there's the 2 to the bottom right of the screen, and then the upper left, and then the fire off of Eucalyptus to the east. And then obviously the trail connects to the north, but it's not
Yeah,
a roadway.
what's the one on the top, up on the north side, at the very top of the screen? Yeah, right there. Is that an access point?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that'll be street access for cars.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Exit only. Okay, all right, interesting.
I think I know the answer, but I just want to be crystal clear. How many of these units are affordable? Out of the 58,
10.
10.
Yep.
Thank you. So deed restricted, 5 very low income.
Deed restricted for
5
55,
moderate.
yeah, 55 years.
The rest are market rate? Yeah.
Correct.
Does that include the existing cottages that are there?
Yes, so in your plans, yes, it does.
Yeah.
So the total 58, 10 of those, including the bungalows, the 25 bungalow units that are there currently. So in the plans, if you also take a look at, we asked for the applicant to provide the locations for those affordable units, and you see those sprinkled throughout the site on the plan. So I forget the plan number, but it's one of the plans where it highlights the affordable unit locations.
Yeah.
And the existing units will be rent controlled while their current residents are still residing there. So that isn't the same as what you're talking about, but
Maybe not permanently there, but sure, it's providing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the units are small, so that also keeps the rent from going too crazy.
Sure.
Affordable by design.
Affordable by design,
That's it.
exactly.
Page 6 of 7.
I just had one more question.
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So for the existing units, how many of them will have that protection in place for their existing residents?
I want to say 3. It could be 4. Do you guys have that number? If not, I can. The plans also include it. Hold on.
Yeah, bear with me. It's sheet A200 is our affordability matrix. You can see that in your sheet. And then we've got
Yep.
3 of the existing units are moderate deed restricted. And then 4 are very low deed restricted. And then in the new units, we've got 3 total. We've got 1 very low and 2 moderate.
Thank you. Sorry, page 6 of the staff report, 11, clarify the Mallory Way right-of-way improvements. We just talked about the 4 access points, but
Where they are, but we
where
didn't.
they are. But it sounds like there's still some work to be done here with the city engineer. Is that correct? So are these potentially going to change?
You're on 6 of 7 here.
6 of 7 of the staff report, sorry.
Number 11.
Number 11, before the sequel review.
Mhm.
Here, sorry. I'm on the wrong page here. Oh, so right-of-way improvements, that's the information for Eucalyptus, Summer, and Mallory Way. So it's not just so there's the improvements that are being made on the private site.
Right.
And then there's the improvements made within the public right-of-way.
Oh, okay.
So
All
those areas typically are handled through Public Works.
Yeah.
The engineering division or engineers are now under community development. So no longer are we relying only on Public Works. First and foremost, we're actually relying on the engineer with support through community development to see that through. So while it identifies public right-of-way improvements for Mallory Way, really it's public right-of-way improvements for Mallory Way, for Summer, and for both portions of Eucalyptus on either side.
What kind of improvements, Lucas?
So it's we're looking at potential sidewalks, street trees, other improvements along those lines. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
And it would be consistent with what's already happening on site here to maintain that flow, but also looking at the surrounding areas to ensure that it's not alienated itself to the communities within those 3 areas. Does that help?
Yeah, no, that was good. Thank you. I think that's all I have as of now. Anything else? Move on to public comment? Oh, you got one more?
No, we're good.
Anything else?
Not right now.
Not right now? Okay. All right, we'll move on to public comment. I've got some speaker cards here. First one up is Mr. Steve Quillisi, once again. You just can't sit down for very long, Steve.
Thank you, John.
Mhm.
First of all, I want to say I greatly respect the Becker Group for the work they have done and the work they're proposing to do, and they're doing it with their own funds. We have a lot of people talking about affordable housing in this town, and they're all waiting for state money to make it happen. At least when the Beckers tell you they're going to do something, they will do it. And I like the work that they've done just downstream of this project, the culvert and the widening of the water course through the cottages. Excellent work. There are a couple of things that really bother me about this project, though. The first is parking. If the city cannot mandate and the city cannot negotiate sufficient parking to keep all of the residents parking on the site, then they are going to be parking on the city streets permanently. In particular, I would call your attention to the 7 units along this paper road, or whatever Lucas is calling it, Paper Street. To begin with, I was not aware that the city was giving over public land to a developer. I live in the area. I was notified when the project came up, but I do not recall any discussion of the city giving over public land to a developer. And I would go on to say that those 7 houses that are going into the extension of Mallory, they have no parking anywhere near them. So are they going to walk around the corner and find a parking space somewhere on site, or are they just going to park along the street? I contend it's the latter. And I don't think that's the intent of the city in putting this together. I wasn't even sure that it was legal for the city council to give away public land. Lastly, I don't believe that we were notified of this public, I think you called it a public land something or other, development, dispersal?
Public land dedication.
Dedication, okay. I've lived there for 20 years, and I don't remember seeing it. And I feel particularly badly for our neighbors, Frank and Lynn Menlo, who have the property immediately adjacent to those 7 units. If somehow, though, since you're allowing, or since the plan now includes 2-story buildings, if you could move those 7 units back onto site, that would be much better for the city, and it would be, I think, consistent with the notifications that have gone out. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next up I have is Anita Graham.
Good evening, everyone. The creek, page 2, staff report says the design team and developer have identified the area in question as a man-made drainage area. Next paragraph says the Fish and Wildlife staff representatives confirmed the need for an application and supporting information to be submitted due to the improvements proposal. So is the city obviously the city is not calling in to question the state's determination, so I suggest you change your report and call the creek a creek. We all know it. It's very confusing. It's almost like, hiding something. And also, burying a creek and a sewer pipe underground is not an improvement. In reality, it is a loss to the community watershed. On page 6, CEQA Bullet C, the report states the project site has no value as habitat for endangered, rare, or threatened species. This contention is reiterated on page 10. No one can say this. No scientific assessment has occurred. This is actually a false statement in this report. So there's a little bit of a troubling pattern of the city turning a blind eye to science in this report. And another place where this shows is tree protection. There's no provision for protecting birds during nesting season. Maybe I need to educate you on the International Migratory Bird Treaty Act, which is a federal law that protects almost every bird we have out there, except for introduced species like starling sparrows. You cannot interfere with a nest, a bird feather even, an egg. Those trees have to be protected. Usually that's in the conditions of approval. So please pay attention. No Chumash monitoring in this conditions of approval. This is a long-held standard in the Ojai that we put, and actually the 2007 report from Julie Tumamite said that this is a sensitive area, and that area just west of the cottages is part of that sensitive area. Thank you for the dust mitigation. I wish you would follow through with the cottages on that, with the stockpiled dirt pile that is uphill from several of where we all live, and it's actually putting at risk the entire neighborhood of Valley Fever should a big wind come in. It's not watered twice a day, it's rarely watered. 5, very low income. That's good, but this is not going to be workforce housing. Workforce can't even afford moderate income, so I think affordable housing is very misleading on this. 5, tops. Also, what is the value of the paper street? Because I agree with Quillisi on that, past Commissioner Quillisi, that we're not happy with the public land giveaway to a developer. You know, it's a wildlife corridor. It's what's the actual monetary value of that piece of property? It's kind of a fallacy to say no money is being given away in this. Anyway, and also there's native walnut trees in that center area. I haven't heard anybody talk about those walnut trees that are in that central area. It's a really uncommon native tree in our valley, so I hope we're paying attention to those walnut trees as well.
Thank you, Nita.
Thank you.
All right, I have Brian Akins.
Thank you, Chair. Brian Akins, I'm one of those HPC people that were talking about that, preserving that area in the middle. Thank you, owners. So I just wanted to read a couple parts of a couple documents. Going to your package on page 2 of 7, said at a recent Historic Preservation Commission, March 13th, 2025 meeting, the commission recommended city approval. City Council approved Mallory Way Bungalows as a City of Ojai historic landmark. Vote on that was 4-3. And recommended City Council enter into a historic Mills Act agreement between the City of Ojai and the Mallory Way Bungalow. Voted passed 5-2. The commissioners also provided comments regarding the proposal for consideration of which included keeping the middle of the motor court design open to maintain the visual and emotional feeling when driving through the court, to keep the feel of a motor court. A lot of visualization on coming into that area and looking and what might be there, what we were protecting on that view and going in. So again, thanks to them for that. I'd like to also just real quickly convey my support for much of what Commissioner, again, I'm here solely as a commissioner who attends everything historic that he can because that's what I love. But looking and supporting the letter that Craig Walker put in there, other than he seemed to indicate that it was only historic because it's basically the last motor court standing. So I found other things that I thought were historic when we walked it, when we talked with the owners, when we did our own research. But I support much of what he said. I'll close that I support where he says in a paragraph, courtyard retained its rustic open look with painted white rocks. And then in the concluding paragraph, he says perhaps one more two-story building on the south side. I think it was on the east side where the two-story building is. In a more accurate courtyard with white rocks and parallel parking woodwork. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, I have L. Caldwell.
I'd like to greet you all with the way we would where I'm from. So hi, y'all. I had a whole other talk planned, but the two-story building has handled pretty much that suggestion that I was going to have. I like the idea of considering possibly a few other two-story buildings, if that would make even a little more footprint, a little more open space around the footprint. I'm hoping that in the landscaping, there might be some consideration, if it's possible, to some rewilding planting that I see around the community. That would be a nice thing there. I'm really delighted to see the oval being preserved. It would be nice if there could be a little scattering of picnic tables or benches in there somewhere. A space big enough for community people to get together and meet each other and know each other is very important, especially in a development this size. I think what we're looking at a lot is a balance between quality of life and the historic things that want to be preserved or need to be preserved. And along the historic line, I would love to see some kind of signage reiterating what that was and what the prior history of it is, with some reference to further information being available at the museum. And then the last thing I'll say is change is really hard for us humans. And so that's a lot of what we're feeling. And I want to thank everybody who's given so much time and energy and work to creating this new housing in Ojai. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Larry Steingold.
Good evening, Larry Steingold. The two-story idea makes a lot of sense, I think. There's a lot of two-story buildings tucked around Ojai, and it provides for more parking and for more green and for more fire protection. But this thing has all been decided. We have a settlement agreement. I mean, what the only changes are technical, practical, legal. I mean, let's move on. I mean, this has been going on long enough. So, I mean, it works well, it's going to get developed, but the two-story makes sense for a whole host of reasons. And maybe more financial. I'm sure it will be. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Sherry, do we have anybody online?
Yes, I've just promoted him to speak.
All right. iPhone 180, you are up.
Yeah, hi, this is Frank Menlo. I'm here with my wife, Lynn Menlo. And my main concern is regarding the trail. First of all, we got a letter from the city of Ojai saying that we're encroaching upon the city property, or now the developer's property, which we met with, my wife actually met with Lucas regarding this. We showed him a survey that was done for us at the time when we bought the property, which shows that that's not true. The survey that was done, I don't know if the survey was done by the city or by the developer, but our survey shows a different story. And that we're not encroaching. In fact, we really should be able to put our fence more out into this trail. Not that we have any plan to, but that's one issue. And I don't know if Lucas had an opportunity, because according to my wife, he was going to maybe meet with the two survey companies and see what the dispute was. So that's one thing I just wanted to bring up, and it does need to be resolved. The other thing, which is extremely disturbing, is the fact that this development, instead of the housing, I guess 7 bungalows that they're going to be building, they're abutting right on our property. Their deck of one of these housing is literally going to be on our fence. And instead, it would make a lot more sense. I mean, I'm not happy about they gave any of this land away, as others have stated, but that's the past. They could just as well be developing it away from our fence instead of and making the pathway between us and the project development. I don't know why they had to put these housing projects right up on our fence. I didn't move to the city of Ojai to be crowded. I left Los Angeles so that I have open space, that I don't have to have people right on top of me. I'm very happy about the project. I'm all for it. But this does not make any sense that they're having these houses developed right up on our property. They should be moving the other way and leaving the trail open in that direction.
Should be open. And thank you, Steve.
I have a question for,
Oh, we got it. Is that all? Are you done?
Yeah, I mean, everybody understands what I'm saying, correct?
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Appreciate your comments.
Okay, I just want to make sure if everyone understands it, that's all I really have to say.
Okay.
I have a question for you before you jump off.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Do you have a fence up currently on the disputed land?
yes.
How long have you lived there?
We live there since 2019. That fence has been up before we bought the property,
Years.
at least 10 years before. So it's been up for quite some time.
Okay, for staff, who owns the property that has been given or is going to be given to the applicant
The city's has ownership of that
currently?
paper street, yes.
You have not already given away that land?
No.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Discussion?
Yes. I would like to know. I guess I would like to know, what are the required setbacks? Are they there? It sounds like this gentleman said that the houses would be right next to his fence, and it doesn't look that way on the plan to me, but I'm just wondering if you could describe it for me, what's actually there now.
Can you maybe show it?
Yep.
Get everybody on the same page? Because it does look like the decks kind of sit right on the fence.
Yep.
Oh, but decks don't count, don't you know?
Decks don't count, you're right. But the main structure does. So, looking at this, using this as the cursor for setbacks, your front yard area is, if I can get my cursor up here, is right here. This is your front yard area. This area, because it's, yeah, it's because
Wiggle
this-
that arrow. We
Sorry,
can't
the
see
arrow is going to be in a weird spot. I can't go any lower than that because I've got something on my screen that you can't see.
Oh.
But to the
Secret stuff.
west, I know secrets. Well, it's the screen that shows screen sharing or stop screen sharing, and it won't let me move it around.
That's all good.
So, if you look to the west or to the bottom of this screen, that area is considered a side yard. The area to the west, or I'm sorry, to the north or to the left of this screen, that would be considered side yard as well. And then your rear yard is everything that is on the top of this screen. And then everything to the right or to the south would also be a side yard area. So one of the, through density bonus and through affordable housing, you are allowed to have concessions. And one of those concessions they have requested is setback concessions. So what that means is, even though we have requirements for setbacks in the front yard of 20 feet, within the sides of 5, and the rear of I believe 5 as well, those concessions, that can be a concession that then allows for them to encroach into those setback areas.
Sure.
Those in between, okay, those 7 units are 10 feet apart? I'm just trying to
Yeah, I think
get a judge for what the distance
what
might
the
be.
landscape architect had identified is there's a minimum requirement for each of these units to be 10 feet apart.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that's exactly what it is, that there's no more.
It's likely when you're looking at these units, the minimum that you're going to be seeing, like for instance, if you're looking at the two centralized units on the bottom of the screen, which look to be relatively close together. I don't have dimensions here showing me 10 feet, but the minimum requirement's 10 feet.
Okay, and then 5 feet going down.
There is a dashed line, if you can see, and that's the 5-foot requirement that you're seeing off of that property line. And once again, I don't think I'm going to be able to show it with my cursor. Look at that. You see it again?
Yeah,
right
we
there,
see it.
along the edge here is so there's a dotted line here, which is the 5-foot, and then just below that is where the property line is.
Oh, got it.
So the gentleman who spoke to us last lives somewhere
Lives to the west of this, or
west
to the bottom, yes.
of this. And so it's the porches that are going to be, or decks, whatever they are, that are going to be nearly touching his fence?
Yeah, I would call them, they're not enclosed, but they are enclosed through fencing for privacy purposes. So it's like a patio, if you will.
Are we giving away any property that's on the other side of their fence? Because he was
Clarify.
saying there's a property line dispute, and that currently he thinks his property is, you know, somewhere in the vicinity of the land that's being granted to the developers. I
Yeah,
would love
right
to
now
hear
we're
the city's.
going through the two different surveyors that the city's already had a survey done. They're identifying that they have a surveyor. I'm looking to. I've already reached out to the individuals that they've given me contact information for to get clarification. So I'd prefer that to stay kind of working with them through that, and don't consider that to be the final word.
Honestly, we're supposed to make a decision on this tonight, and if there's like a land dispute over land that the city wants to give the developers for this project that's going to materially impact, you know, a landowner's land, that to me gives me pause about the project. So I would have appreciated knowing, you know, when we first started discussing this project, but also I can't just take their word for it. So like, I would love to hear from your perspective what the city thinks, so that I can help weigh the two perspectives.
Can we make that part of our conditional approval? Set it as a condition that
I just wanna know-
gets resolved?
Yeah, where is this property
Yeah, what's
line?
the question? Is the question, is the fence on the property line?
Correct, yeah.
A portion of it, through our survey, a portion of it is showing it on the property line. A portion of that fence is shown on their property, not on ours, meaning that paper street. And a portion of it is actually shown on the paper street portion, which is, if you're looking at it from, let's see if my cursor will work here. If you're looking at it from the bottom portion here, you see my cursor?
Mm-hmm.
Sherry, can you move that kind of your screen
I'm having
sharing?
a little bit of technical difficulties.
Okay, because
Hold
now
on,
I
here we
can't
go.
move my cursor to show you. But it's at the bottom of so you see that arrow that's at an angle, like almost like a 45-degree, 30-degree angle?
The blue?
Yeah, the first blue one. It's just to the south of that is really kind of where their fence is being shown into the paper street right of way.
So
They also,
is there going to be any development up to their fence line? Is their fence going to be impacted by development from this? Okay. Yeah, how so?
I think that fence is right up to where that one unit that you're seeing there.
Right. So that's where the blue line is, essentially, is their fence line.
Yeah, but the blue line isn't meant to show where the fence is. It's really kind of meant to show where the water course is, which is a really good delineation for where that fence is, because the fence is very close to, if not straddling it to a certain degree, that water course, that surface water course area.
Okay.
Do we need that land? Does the property or does the project need this land? Is this something where?
In order to get the units in.
It was part of the development agreement that's already been approved.
Settlement agreement.
Settlement
Settlement
agreement.
agreement.
Sorry,
Yeah, but-
thank you.
But the city can't give away like a private landowner's, land without
Well,
buying it first from them for fair market value.
well, right
there needs to
now,
be, like, a
right now,
public
the city
interest to that.
perceives it to be our land, and we're reconciling the discrepancy, and it will get resolved before, like, it has to get resolved. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, and so I'm for this conditional statement. Hey, this needs to be resolved, like in the city's favor. But if we're opening ourselves up to a lawsuit, another lawsuit about this project, because we're potentially giving away someone's private land, why would we even do that?
I don't think that the city there would be other considerations that would happen before the city made that choice.
When did we decide, hey, this is actually city land? Like, when did we get the survey done?
Yeah, the survey was done at the end of last year,
And when did we enter into the settlement with the developer?
in December of 2023.
So we entered into the settlement giving this land away before we decided, and we did our own survey, that this land actually belonged to the city.
We had no reason to believe that this land
Sure, they hadn't
didn't,
approached.
right?
Sorry for cutting
Belonged
you
to the
off.
city, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was no reason for us to think that we didn't own this trail.
Or more importantly, the paper street that we're talking
Paper
about, the
street, sorry,
52-foot
thank you.
wide paper street.
Right. Now, a question regarding that, considering it was public land, was there any sort of, was there a public meeting to discuss the land and the vision of the land and where it was gonna go, and, or was that not part of a public comment or a public process?
So it was noticed as part of the development agreement when it went to
Settlement agreement.
I'm sorry. It's been a very long day. Settlement agreement.
Yes.
When this went to council. So there was notice of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there was a discussion of the council of this portion of it, I don't know. I wasn't at that meeting. Maybe Lucas.
No public comment, period, on it.
Well, so there's public comment on the development agreement, and it was a settlement agreement,
Okay,
and it was
okay.
part of, right, so the
Mhm.
public could have given comment on it. I will ask the public to have decorum during this meeting, please. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, so, Jeff, if you don't mind, can I ask you a quick question? Oh, I'm sorry, this is a little far away. Jeff, if you don't mind, just a quick question. Considering the 7 units below, did you guys look at another 2-story proposal to potentially eliminate the need for those 7 and put the 2 stories to the, it looks like what is that, the south of the property? Just curious. I know you guys played with a million different ideas and designs, but I was just curious if that had come up at some point.
Yeah, we looked at a lot of different options. There's no easy choices.
True.
And we even more recently, after our last hearing in May, looked at moving the trail to the edge of that fence, but then it's sort of like a straight shot,
Mm-hmm.
which gets you away from the historic path that exists.
Mm.
So, we kind of opted to stick with this newer design, even though we did shift it a little bit.
Right.
There's a bunch of really nice oak trees through there too, so you
Yeah,
gotta,
you want to protect those.
yeah, you gotta kind of contend with those, so.
Right.
But yeah, the 2-story structure, site that we are showing here, it's kind of hidden in that back area. That's where our current,
Mm-hmm.
parking structure is,
Mm-hmm.
garage structure, so it made the most sense. Otherwise, somebody is gonna be unhappy.
Right, you'll have visual impacts potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So again, that property line dispute, there's that 1 unit right there. Let's say hypothetically, that person sues the city over, hey, you don't have the right to give away my land, this impacts your project because you can't develop that site. Is there a way to move that single unit into another 2-story building or tack it on somewhere else?
Well, I think the answer is the same. You start doing another structure, it's gotta go somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. So, I'm not exactly sure where that fence line is, but this is, version number 43.
Yeah, no, I know. Trying
So
to please
that's-
everybody is difficult.
That's part of the problem. We've been at this for quite a while,
No, I understand.
years,
Yeah,
to say the least, but anyway.
yeah. Okay, all right. I appreciate that. Thank you,
All
Jeff.
right, thank you.
So Lucas, just for clarification, so if this, whatever decision we decide upon, if it would go in front of council, right? The council will have final say, of course.
Yeah, so density bonus law has a maximum number of
Meetings.
meetings.
Yeah.
So they have 2 meetings in
Right.
which this can be, okay, I'm incorrect. They have 3 meetings by which they can address this. It's not 2. At the last meeting, I had assumed it was 2. We've done some deeper research, and they do have 3 meetings by which to collaborate and make a decision.
And I'm assuming during that time, we'll be working with the property owners on that lot to try to figure out who.
Yeah, I met on site with the property owners. We're working through that right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. I'm doing the fact finding as we speak. I've got my facts, I'm gathering their facts, and then we're gonna figure something out.
Okay. Anybody, anything else?
No, I'm in favor of what Judy proposed, some sort of condition on approval. To me, it's that one unit, so
It should be easily resolved.
hopefully it's easily resolved by the developer, yeah.
And
Would we have to review, if they have to remove that one unit, another proposal from the developer and vote on that and go through this whole rigmarole again? Like if they decided, hey, we're gonna take that out and we're gonna build a 2-story, on the east side of the property instead?
Well, the 2-story nod is kind of an interesting wrinkle. I was gonna say single story would be probably a hard no.
Right.
2-story could potentially, because there is code sections that speak to 2-story coming before this body.
Well, good to know if it's a single story somewhere else on the property. No, but if it's a double 2-story, sure.
Okay. And what
You
condition?
can also grant them
Go ahead.
conditional, potentially. Nope, I'm gonna stop talking.
I will ask, Taylor, I will ask for your opinion of how do you suggest we write in the condition to help make sure that, one, we're not infringing upon, a resident's land rights, but 2, we help build some housing in Ojai that moves this project forward.
So something to the effect of that, prior to city council approval,
Yeah, make sure we clear this up with property owner.
that, staff works with, is it the Menlo?
Yeah, it's Frank and Lynn.
With, or do you have the property address?
I think the property address is 507 West Eucalyptus.
504.
504.
Okay, we're gonna say Menlo's.
Mm-hmm.
With, the Menlo's regarding, property line dispute.
Can we just say satisfactory resolution
And
of
that there-
property
yeah.
line dispute?
Like that.
There,
Have you closed
If
the
not,
public comment?
we
Because
yeah,
write-
you're too quiet, Sherry, now.
have
Sorry.
you closed the public comment because they're raising their hands again?
We have closed the public comment, but we can reopen it.
It's up to the chair.
Yeah, I'm open to have them speak again. So we'll open public comment again. Sure, go ahead.
Hi. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, first I want to thank Robert very much for really hearing us. I just really, we really appreciate that.
Mhm.
And I'm going to get emotional because this house means everything to us. And I want to know if Mr. Becker lived in our home, how would he feel to have these 7 cottages up against his fence? And that he has, we just, I feel like we can't do anything about it. I so appreciate the fact that you're considering that one unit so that we don't have to give up our property. We bought the house this way. That's the way it was given to us. That's the way we bought it. I'm sorry, it wasn't given to us. So I appreciate that, but look at what you're doing. And no one's happy about this. And why can't you turn the houses around so that the decks are not facing into our property?
I just want to make it clear, my position here
Taking
is,
away so much from us.
Okay.
sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
It's okay. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Are you done? Just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
I just want to clarify, my position here is not infringing upon your property line. The developer has been granted a concession to be able to build up to that property line, though. So our issue here, from my perspective, is making sure that your property line is not infringed upon. But you know, if the developer has the right to build up to it, that's a different issue.
Okay, and I have language for you.
All right.
And then Chair, we'll close the public
Yeah,
comment.
let's close the public comment. Cherry, thank you.
Okay, so that there is a satisfactory resolution regarding the dispute about the Menlo property line prior to council approval of the project.
What happens if there's not?
I guess we'll have to redo the design.
Then
Will that
it
end
has-
up coming
then it-
back to us to have to go through all this
I
again?
think that that's something that we'll have to work out dependent on how the facts shake out on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's too many variables and things that need to be worked out at this time.
I'm happy to not put in language about if not, just
Yeah.
curious about.
My concern too is that if we can avoid it coming, we only have so many meetings
Sure.
regarding this project too, so we're gonna work to find resolution to ensure that we're staying within our legal requirements under state law and the settlement agreement.
Great. I'm good with that language.
I don't know if this is a condition or if this is more of a recommendation, but I would like to make a recommendation to council to really look at the right-of-way with the streets that we mentioned with Mallory, Eucalyptus, and Summer. Also, look at the stop sign, you know, have council address that stop sign piece.
Hold on, when you say stop sign,
I'm sorry.
you mean the stop sign within the property itself, or you mean stop sign at a specific intersection?
Yeah, this would be on page 4 of 7 of the staff report. I think it's number 3. At the Mallory Way Aliso intersection. So it wouldn't be on the property site. But I'd like on Mallory Way Aliso Street. Yeah.
Okay, so Mallory Way and Aliso.
Sure, this one.
And then for the right-of-way, were you referring to 11
Yeah, 11.
on page 6 of 7?
Yep.
But you have to have a traffic study before you can even make a decision about a stop sign, so.
Yeah, but who was the traffic study? Not the project, it'd be council. Council needs to move this forward. 'Cause it's not-
You're asking council, you're recommending that council require a traffic study leading up to a possible stop sign?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Before they vote on.
Or request that stop sign, basically a three-way stop is what it would be,
Right.
essentially, right?
Yeah. And I know that the permit parking, so I don't think we're not gonna be able to do that, right? That would require city council to do some sort of ordinance.
It is a little bit loftier as I was looking at the crafting of something like that. We do have it in one area, which is at the north end of Signal.
Okay.
Which is where the Shelf Road Trail
Yep,
intersects.
yeah,
And there's very specific language, and that went through a fairly lofty process.
okay. I would make a recommendation to council to take a look at that, just to see if there's something we can do there, because parking is gonna be an issue.
So can I offer one piece of information? So vehicle code requires vehicles in the city of Ojai not to be parked for more than 72 hours.
Correct.
Council just adopted the budget, which is accounting for and allowing for code compliance to shift from a reactive to a proactive
Okay.
approach.
That'll help. All right.
So just know that when complaints come in
Mhm.
regards to that, we address it almost immediately. So, and then it starts at 72-hour clock.
Okay. And I know we didn't talk about this, but I just remembered, somebody had made a comment around storage. And I think we expanded some of the storage on the new proposed units.
Yeah, could the applicant kind of
Yeah.
just frame that?
Jeff,
'Cause
I apologize
I
if you
remember
don't-
there being
Yeah, there was some
information
talk
about
about
it
that.
in an area, but I wanted to get clarification.
You know, part of the additions to the existing structures, the rear additions, the screen, which has a little storage in it too.
Okay.
So, and then we have, in the new two-story building, we've got the laundry on the first floor. There's 7 units, so the lower level has 3 units, and then there's the laundry, e-bike, and storage in that area too. So we got a couple different options.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So do we have any motions?
When we make the motion, can we expressly talk about what we're adding to it?
Yes,
versus
you do.
what's a recommendation to the city council?
Yep.
Yes.
Good.
Okay, I recommend that the Planning Commission recommends approval to the City Council with the condition regarding the satisfactory resolution of the property line dispute. I think that's the only condition we've really talked about, so that's it.
How about did you talk about the recommendation for the stop signs?
No, I didn't. And that we recommend City Council look to include a traffic study leading up to a possible stop sign.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think this is not perfect, obviously. It's going to have big impacts to the neighborhood for sure.
Do we have a second?
I will second, but I definitely have comments as well.
Yeah.
Along the lines of what you're saying.
Yeah. But I do feel that we are in desperate need of obviously affordable housing, and this is a project that will move forward, that will move the needle to that direction. It does come from private funds, which allows this project to move forward. We have seen lots of other projects get muddied up just because they can't get the funding. So I think, you know, the positives outweigh the negatives overall from a city's perspective, you know, from what we're trying to accomplish. So with that, I'll give a second. Sorry.
I would like to take a moment to discuss the fact that Jamie and I did go to see the model, and we were both quite pleasantly surprised to find that the model, particularly the inside, is efficient and pleasant and light and safe. The outside is there. It's going to be improved greatly, I think, with the addition of the patio and the trellis. So I am very happy to thank Jeff and his crew for putting together a great project. I think that Ojai has needed this for a long time. I know it's going to be something to live through for the people who are currently there. But I hope that the end result is something that you all really enjoy. So I'm happy to see it happen.
I am not a fan of this project for 2 major reasons. The first, I do not think that there's enough affordable housing in this project. That's not something that I get to, make my decision based upon, though. The other piece of it is I think that there is actually going to be a traffic impact on the street here as well as through the property. The one-way, streets are fun, but I think without there being enough parking for the amount of people that are going to be living there, thinking every person probably has a car, that's going to cause a huge traffic impact backing up into the street for not just the residents of this development, but also the residents, surrounding. Again, I can't base my decision on parking given, the concessions that are made there. I balance my decision tonight with, the respect that the Becker Group has really met us more than halfway. There was the settlement agreement. They could build 58 units. They only had to provide 63 parking spaces. They've gone back multiple times and figured out a way to increase those parking spaces, even though they didn't have to. The land that's being developed, a lot of it's still permeable. So as we think about that watershed issue, we're still going to be able to hopefully have most of that water come back down into, our ground aquifers. The fire hardening measures, obviously you have to do what you have to do, but it seems like you're really taking that seriously. And the prefabricated units look great. So from what I saw online. So with that, I'm ready to vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We have 2 seconds on this
Yeah.
right now. Could you clarify which one of you is the second, please?
I seconded first.
He
Okay.
seconded first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, Sherry, roll call.
Graham,
Aye.
Murphy,
Aye.
Trent.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. All right. So that one is going to council. Oops. All right. What do we got next? All right, now we have design review permit DRP 25-001 regarding facade restoration, including exposing existing transform windows, replacement and modification of storefront glass, addition of window down at the downtown Ojai Historical District, Ojai Avenue. All right, who is up on this one? Is this Maura?
I am, thank you.
All right.
There we go. Okay. Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. This design review permit request is for facade restoration for an existing structure. It's located at 338 Ojai Avenue. The restoration includes exposing existing transom windows. Sorry, here. Replacement and modification of storefront glass and addition of a window on the east elevation. And I'm showing that to you. Okay, the structure is a contributor to the California Register of Historical Resources, listed as the Downtown Ojai Historic District. As such, the request for facade restoration required a major work permit to be reviewed and considered by the Ojai Historic Preservation Commission. On May 22nd, the HPC, that's the Historic Preservation Commission, reviewed the project and, due in part to the project meeting the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation, unanimously approved the request with a 5-0 vote. The Planning Commission is charged with review and consideration of a design review permit pursuant to Section 10-2.2003 of the Ojai Municipal Code, as it requires a design review permit reviewed and considered by the Planning Commission for exterior alteration to any property within the C1 zone. The specifics of the request for this project include exposing the transom windows that were previously covered with plywood, replacement of existing storefront windows with new multiple pane operable wooden windows, and installation of a fourth window on the east side of the building, which would match the 3 existing windows. A proposed project analysis was prepared by a historian, that's Page and Turnbull, for the work permit, and the analysis indicated that the wood frame transom window that is there is original, but by the 1900s it was covered with plywood and painted to match the exterior stucco, and it was recently discovered and exposed by the applicant. You couldn't even tell that that had been covered.
Mm-hmm.
The original storefront system likely included wood framing as well as the windows. These were replaced with the existing 3-section metal frame system. The proposed system includes a 6-pane wood frame operable window system. An additional operable window is to be in an existing window on the east wall of the entry. The east side of the building includes 3 non-original punched window openings, each with paired double-hung wood windows. The headers of the windows are straight, but the header of the punched opening has a slight arch. A fourth window is proposed to match these existing 3 windows. The replacement of the new window framing, they're proposed to be wood and painted a British racing green. The colors are on the bottom of the screen on the bottom left, but that color's not showing up very well. The stucco is proposed to be painted to match the existing, and also included in the plans is that the vegetation on the east side of the building is proposed to be preserved. The applicant has provided specs for new light fixture to be replaced the existing one. The fixture is wall-mounted and resembles a lantern. Materials include cast aluminum and brass in a black finish with clear seedy glass. The fixture grows narrower towards the bottom and is capped to comply with section 10-2 .16504, which are the general requirements for exterior lighting in the municipal code. The staff report includes the character-defining features laid out in the analysis that was prepared by Page and Turnbull. The distinctive features are not being negatively impacted by the proposed project. In addition to being a contributor to the California Register of Historical Resources, the site is within the East Ojai Avenue design guidelines and therefore is subject to those guidelines. The project doesn't include any additions or alter the existing form, massing, or architectural style. The replacement wood frame storefront is consistent with the materials associated with the Spanish colonial revival style, as are the color proposed for the stucco and the wood trim and the around the windows. So any proposed signage will be required to be reviewed through a sign permit application. Therefore, the proposed project is consistent with those East Ojai Avenue guidelines. The attachments that are in your packet for you to have reviewed includes not only the draft resolution with findings and conditions of approval, but also the light fixture that I described and that you can see here on the elevation that's up on the screen, the survey that was prepared by Page and Turnbull, and the plans that include the colors and the materials that are kind of hard to see on the screen here. The applicant is here still, because it's the same applicant as the previous project, and of course I'm available to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Questions for staff? No?
A very thorough report. I have no questions.
Good job. Maura, I just had a random question. So the racing green, or is that, what do you call it, British racing green or something?
Yes.
That's in line with Spanish colonial revival?
Well, I will say that the historian reviewed the colors and materials along with the replacement windows,
Okay.
taking it back, and recommended that this project
All right.
was appropriate, yes.
Okay. All right.
Why the green?
I'd like you to ask, or have the applicant answer that
Yeah.
question.
If you don't mind coming up and just speaking about why this specific color, how you feel it fits in with the surrounding buildings, especially since you own some of them.
He likes British pubs. Just kidding.
Actually, I was mentioning to Jason that we'd like some flexibility in case we don't like the British racing green when it's up. We were trying to find a good green, and, the options were, there's a lot of options.
There's a lot of options.
So that just got chosen, but, we probably will sample it, and we may want to modify that.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
There was a desire to have a green trim between ownership and the incoming tenant that's coming in.
Okay. All right.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? No? No? Okay. Public comment? I have one speaker card. Brian? That was fast, Brian. You can't sit down.
Again, Brian Akins, just member of the HPC and very interested in local history, and it just seemed like a total waste of an opportunity to not mention why it's historic. So that is where the courtroom was. I went into it a couple times when I was meeting with the people and went in the back where they're, and I'm like, whoa, it looks like a courtroom. I'm not sure what it looks like now, but it was beautiful. Every year, the Historic Preservation Commission opens up the jail. When we do that, they ask, so what happens with the prisoners at night? And we say we lock the door and go home. And but there's a little caveat that the jail that's over there in the back that we love so much, and you can see it on Ojai Day, had a wire that went from that jail all the way to this building that we're talking about. So if there were problems at night, they would be able to call whoever was on duty in that building, and then they would come and get them and take care of them. So yeah, it's been a lot of different things over the time, but again, sheriff's station, courtroom, or one of those two things.
It was city council. Was it city council there too at one point?
No.
City hall.
City hall.
That's
City
what it
hall.
was. City hall was there. Yeah.
Yeah, city council.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's way before my time, and I've been around a while. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, and you guys are good with the racing green. I'm assuming. Yeah.
My wife does painting.
Yeah.
I'm not a color guy. Okay. Red, green, and blue. That's what I know. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Sherry, anybody online?
No.
All right. We'll close public comment. Discussion.
I'm glad to see the building being given a facelift and put to use.
Sure.
I think this looks very much like it will belong in Ojai, and if the HPC is happy with it, I'm happy with it.
Well said.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think this is a big improvement over what it is now. I haven't seen anything in that spot for quite a while, and it'll be nice to see this thing come to life again. I think it's needed it, and I appreciate that you're going to keep the vegetation on the, the east side? Yeah, so that'll be nice to kind of keep that context, because I know when you're at Chevron there and you're looking over, everybody's used to seeing that canopy, which is pretty cool. But I like it. All right, any motions?
Go ahead, it's your turn.
Sure. A motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Sherry, roll call?
Graham?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Trent?
Yes. All right, moving on. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Where are we at? Okay, so we're at design review DRP 25-003, second story building, but I believe, Lucas, I don't know if you want to provide some insight on this one, because
I'll just provide the insight that the recommendation by staff is to continue this item because it is not complete for review at this point.
Well, I make a motion to move this one to a date uncertain.
Correct.
I so move.
All right. Sherry, roll call?
Graham?
Oh, sorry, have to have a second.
Oh, yeah.
Judy was the second?
She just
I
didn't say
moved
second.
it.
Yeah.
Robert seconded.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
All right. That works. Okay, Sherry, go ahead.
Graham?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Trent?
Yes. Can we say yes versus aye? I guess it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Yes. Preference, I don't know. All right. Okay, what are we on to now? I think we have, oh yes, the secretary. Election of a planning commission secretary to serve 1-year term. I think that it would behoove us to wait until we get another body or
Another victim.
another fill for the seat here before we make this decision. So I make a recommendation that we should move this until we get the seat filled.
Yeah, and maybe have everyone here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sure, I will motion to approve that.
I'll second that.
All right, good stuff. Moving on. Sherry, roll call?
Graham,
Aye.
Murphy,
Aye.
Trent.
Aye.
I missed an opportunity to say C. Is it different,
Yeah.
Yes, but, all right. fine.
All right, future agenda items.
Okay, so we're on item 6, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
So because this was continued from the July 2nd meeting, which we assumed we were going to be hearing all the items got pushed to this meeting.
Yep.
It's showing here consideration or cancellation for the 16th. Obviously, that's not true. We had the meeting tonight.
Yep.
The August 6th meeting, there are no items that are ready for consideration before this body. So I would entertain a discussion as to whether or not to have something on. That is not a public hearing item or a discussion item that is driven by an applicant, but instead is something that we've talked about through our work plan.
So like.
Or cancel the meeting.
Yeah. So like design standards or,
I think that's a good one to bring up.
design standards?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
We could have the discussion.
yeah. I mean, it's gonna require a lot of work, so.
Let's
I
not
will
add
not-
anything else to it.
I will not be here, but I've been assured
How
that,
are we gonna do it?
well, I won't be here, but I know that I've got support staff. Mara will be here.
Mara will be here?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And she knows design standards inside and out?
She will become the subject
will
matter
be.
expert.
She will be by then.
Well,
She will be by then.
case in point, the
It'll-
item
I'm sure it'll be
previous to
part-
that
it'll
did
be,
have
yeah.
design considerations, so certainly.
Yeah,
Are we allowed to make recommendations to the city council at that meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, you can.
absolutely.
Yeah, just one thing I would love
Yes.
to see in a report is like moving up, where we consider the downtown distinction to start and end,
Mason
and
Dixon.
where the west side starts and ends. Yeah.
I think that's an important discussion, and I would really prefer to see Lucas here for it and to have a full complement on the planning commission.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair too. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to even punting that August 6th meeting and waiting till we have full staff and have Lucas here.
Well, when you say waiting, is it to make decisions or is it to have the initial conversation?
I don't know. Do we make a decision at that meeting? Or is it just a
Here's
discussion?
You can always have the discussion and not make a decision, but then kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Is it that that commissioner will have to be brought up to speed on everything that you've talked about previously?
Well, to be fair, each commissioner that comes on board needs to be brought up to speed, and that's not something that happens overnight. For instance, with Commissioner Graham, there were several questions that you had early on when we're having conversations where the body was already aware of those items, didn't feel like bringing them up or even going in any depth. You clearly were very interested in those pieces, but didn't want to belabor the issue. So we had conversations offline to get you up to speed, right? So that would happen regardless, right? The same thing is true with Chisholm as well. So
How quickly can we expect a fifth commissioner to be appointed?
well, right now we've flown the vacancy. So once we get the applications, then we follow that procedure and process through City Council.
I would ask that we keep that as a high priority and not let it drift along like it has in the past.
Yeah, I think it is. I know they're eager to see it move forward, so.
Good.
Yeah. All right, let's see, what else do we got?
Wait, so are we having
hold
the
on.
meeting on
I
the
apologize,
6th?
we didn't even make a vote on that, did we? I make a motion that we move that, or we cancel that meeting on the 6th.
Second.
Very good.
All right.
I anticipate for the 16th, we'll have one or two items that'll be ready to go by then.
Okay. Sherry, I don't know, do we need to vote on that?
Graham,
Oh, I guess.
You do need to vote.
Yes.
Murphy,
C.
Trent.
Yes.
It was such a good idea.
Yeah. We gotta switch them around.
That's funny. All right, director's report?
Nothing to report out at this point.
No? All right. Commission member reports? I don't think we have any. I think
Actually, I do have one thing that I want to make this body aware of. It'll be in the paper on Friday, and it'll be posted for the next 3 Fridays. It's referring to FlexPath, which is like a 2.0 to REACH code. That's coming before City Council. It is a building code piece, but it is something that this body, while not specific to building code, certainly you're going to be hearing about it within the community.
Okay.
And there's going to be a workshop and then council making determination.
What is this again? I apologize.
Reach code?
Reach code.
It's like REACH code 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
it's a point system for certain size, construction,
Right.
modifications, new construction to go and encourage electric, but
Yes.
it doesn't completely require electric.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
depending on the size,
Sure.
you get credit and points of how many electrical or energy efficient things that you need to do. Not just electric, it's energy efficient in general.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Cool. Commission member reports? I don't think we had any, right?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Council liaison. Councilmember Mang, come on up. You got nothing? Well, come on up here and say, I got nothing.
Show your face.
Yeah. You gotta say it for the record.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be a part of this, the liaison for you guys. Forward
thank
to
you.
working with you. And I agree with Mr. Trent that, we'll be working on filling that position as quickly as we can to keep you guys moving in the right direction. So I've got nothing to say,
That's
but
okay.
Thanks.
Thank
And I
you.
will see you in September.
Yeah. Perfect.
right.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Let's see. At 8:03, we will call adjourn.